Welcome to episode 2 of the series I'm making on all of the locations in this war of mine and explaining to you how to get the best out of them. These should come out every Friday from now until the entire nation is covered, so subscribe to keep up to date. Now, the warehouse is an incredibly fruitful location if you can get past the bandits who have set up shop here. For that reason, I will split this tutorial into 2 parts. The first part will be a quick tutorial on how to take out the bandits, and the second part will be a full tour with particular areas of interest pointed out. So, time for part 1. There are 3 bandits in total at this location, 2 of which stick around in the first building, and 1 of which sticks around at the end. The strategy is relatively straightforward, but does require a melee weapon, a gun of some description, and a lockpick or crowbar. The strategy is 1. Climb over the first building and wait by the door, looking through the keyhole. Once the 2 bandits have finished their little gossip, follow them inside. One of them should disappear upstairs, while the other will wait just on the other side of the door with his back to you. This should be your first backstab. Number 2. The next one is quite simple if you follow where he went. Simply make noise next to a hiding place and they will come to find you. Jump in and they will walk past, backstab them at this point. The final one is a little bit trickier. If you head to the top floor, there is a locked door. On the other side of that locked door, you can climb onto the roof and run right across to where the other bandit is hiding. You can then drop down until you see the bandit and take them out with a few well-placed shots. Once this is done, you have free access to everything in this location, including a large collection of materials, food, and meds. And this even gives your survivors a small morale boost for taking out the bandits who stole and pillaged from good people. The following tour should be able to show you where the majority of these resources are, so take it away, Tour Guide Andy. Clearly the military base last time wasn't to your fancy, but hopefully this next property will be perfect for you. It comes with tons of storage and even an outhouse which has most of its initial walls. This outhouse is where we start the tour. It has a few supplies scattered around that are ripe for the taking, and a door that you could board or unboard if you want quicker access. Unfortunately, there has been some graffiti written on the wall here from an S&D documenting their market trips. Don't worry, I'm sure a bit of elbow grease and soap will get rid of that. We then have this delightful little courtyard between the outhouse and the main property. You may need to deal with the pile of rubble here though, as it is a bit of an eyesore, but perhaps you could use it to rebuild the front building a bit more, or for a different project. The main property is spread over 4 floors with roof access and a basement. This building starts with a small entrance hallway with a dresser before we arrive into the main stairway at the core of the building. On the ground floor here there isn't much, but on the first floor we can find a few useful items spread amongst the rubble. This also has access to a lovely bathroom with a securable storage cupboard. The previous tenants clearly were hot on security, so you will need to saw into this, and it is probably smart to use a crowbar as the cupboard's lock can be quite sticky. Any materials left by the previous tenants are forfeit and of course free for you to use. Above this bathroom is the kitchen, which has all the amenities, cupboards, a fridge and a dining table with a chair. Again, it's worth checking the food if you find any in the fridge in case it has gone bad since the previous tenants left. There is also a small balcony out of the kitchen for some well-needed fresh air. Above the kitchen is a pretty shabby state, but it does provide access to the roof. The previous tenants clearly didn't look after this part of the property well, but at least to the left of the top floor there is a cupboard with some filing cabinets. It seems these weren't particularly well utilised, but you could use them to store anything you like. Working our way back down to the first of the bedrooms, it is relatively small, but there is a little bit of storage under the bed for essentials, and that is the same for the bedroom just below that as well. Thankfully, this small annex on the ground floor has a nice cupboard for storage, and the basement has even more, so you're not going to struggle for storage. The basement even has a cabinet behind a grate for the most valuable of items. And with all this talk of storage, you'd think that this property would be running low on it, but that isn't the case. The rest of this usual property is full of crates on varying levels, full of resources and parts, the perfect storage location. There's even some packed food among the boxes and shelves. All of these items come with the property, so make sure to get in quick to avoid disappointment. If you decide against it, however, come back to me. I'm sure we'll have another property that you'd find interesting very soon. And so that is that. Another tutorial comes to an end. But don't worry, there'll be one next week. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it.